Good evening, friends. Happy Monday. How is everybody doing? It is a full moon Monday, and we are here to do some full moon readings. So pop in the chat, say hi, let me know how you're doing. Let me know how the start of your week is going. And if you want a reading, put it in the chat, and we will jump into it. Just a couple of housekeeping things I want to address. Number one, if you're coming from LA, if you know people in the Los Angeles area or anywhere in California for that matter, our hearts and prayers and thoughts are with all that have been affected by the wildfires. And I have to say that I see conflicting reports in terms of humanity, right? So on the one hand, you see these reports of, people volunteering and chefs out there making meals and feeding the first responders and all of those kinds of things, right? People coming in from Canada, people coming in from Mexico, firefighters, first responders to help, to offer assistance. And then you see comments on social media that are absolutely vile, in my personal opinion, saying like basically, it's only the rich and famous and they can afford to build, so who cares? That's horrific. I try not to go down that rabbit hole and get sucked into that kind of energy. Our thoughts and prayers are with those people that are affected, and for the first responders that are working so hard day and night to contain what's going on there. It's absolutely horrific. Second thing I want to mention, just thank you for being here. I appreciate your support. I had to cancel this stream. I was supposed to do it last night. Wasn't feeling good. Not still feeling great, but I feel better than I did yesterday. So I apologize for the short notice in the switch, but I appreciate your support and your understanding. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, all the good stuff. Hi, Kristen. Hi, Sylvia. Hi, Fleck. How you guys doing? It is not too bad here today. We're in for some cold temperatures and some snow, which is typical. We had a break for a couple of days. There was no snow, but it's supposed to snow basically for the next 2 weeks. So, hi, Linda. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kristen. I hope you feel better, my friend. Hi, Karen. All right, so let me know if you want a full moon reading. That's what we're doing tonight. Karen, I'll try to answer your question within the full moon reading if I can. So, you had 11 inches of snow, Sylvia? Wow. We had, like the first week in January, we had like 80 centimeters of snow. That's about 40 inches. And after that, I just lost count, if I was being perfectly honest. Hi, Sin. Hi, Ellen. You're freezing, but it's fine. What did you say here? Except for the grumpy old knees, yep. Hi, Jessica Lynn. How you guys doing? No, we're not snowed in. I mean, that's nothing for us. It was just a lot at one time, that's all. The snowblower got to work out, that's for sure. All right, so do. So listen, you guys, while I have you here, it's cold there, Ellen, but you had a little snow, just a coating a couple of times. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Karen. That's very kind of you, my friend. Blessings to you. Thank you so much. I don't want this to turn into a wine fest, so I hope it doesn't come across that way. I understand that everybody, is busy and has things that they want to do. The membership has just started on the channel, and I'm trying to work that out. And to my members, I appreciate you so very much, and I thank you for your support. There will be a members only live next Monday, January 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I am trying. I have worked diligently behind the scenes trying to figure out how to get the videos to only go to you or to get to you at a certain time, and it's a work in progress. I thought after 3 and a bit years of running a YouTube channel that I would know what I was doing, but this is a whole other situation that I'm trying to navigate. I watch how-to videos and I still can't figure it out. But anyway, it's work in progress. So thank you for your patience. If you're interested in joining the Dozen Cats membership, the join button is right underneath the channel. Now, moving on from that. The daily videos that I do, I want to do them. I appreciate doing them. I appreciate you watching them. But with 1,200 plus subscribers and, 15, 16, 20 people watching them, it's a lot of work for that kind of a view. And so what will help me is if you watch the videos, I'm not saying like you have to, but if you already do that, please make sure that you hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, even if you don't say anything, and just leave some emojis, and that will help to sort of within the algorithm and push it out. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. And what else? Oh, right. Yes, but I'm the best, Sin. I'm kidding. I'm not the best. Far from it. Okay. What was I going to say? So next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we're going to do the January Blues. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but January 20th is like a national sort of day. It's called January Blue. It is the darkest day of the year, and it is when people often complain of having some form of, depression due to the darkness. And so we're going to do some readings on Sunday. Ivana Intuitive is going to join me, and that should be fun. Hi, Vivian. How you doing, love? All right. So with all that being said, right? I mean, okay, can we just talk? I know you guys are here for full moon readings, but I don't often ask you guys questions like this, but I would be interested to know what you have to say or what you think. And I've actually thought about this a couple of times, whether I want to like announce this or whether I don't. But I'm thinking of starting another channel that is different from what I do here. Okay. I've actually already set it up. I'm not completely sold on it yet, and in terms of the name, but I'm pretty much there. It's called Kelly's Soapbox. There are so many things that I want to talk about. There's so many things that I think that I could learn about and learn from, and I want to, encourage that engagement, that conversation, politics, wellness, women's health, like just as an example. Okay, so when I started going through menopause, for example, not one person in my family was going through menopause or had gone through menopause naturally. Every person had had a hysterectomy, which I had not. All of them had had children. I have not. And so I didn't know if I was affected or would be affected differently. I didn't know what to expect. My mom was gone. And I had like literally no one to talk to. And I don't understand why it's so almost like, like secretive, right? Unless you had a BFF that you could bring it up to, basically, it's not mentioned. And the reason I call it the soapbox is because it'll be a little bit spicy at times, right? And so, what do you guys think about that? I like to talk. I like to have conversation. I like to tell stories. I like to engage. And I'm not really asking if you specifically would be interested, because I'm not trying to jam it down your throat. I'm just asking if you think that there is a place for that on, YouTube. Do let me know. Oh, Martin Luther King Day? Cool. Yes, and not at all DJT, yeah. I mean, friends, one of the first episodes on that channel, would be about the threat to my country. And what I dislike about it so very much is there not already enough division in the world, right? People pointing fingers and mudslinging and picking fights with people that they don't know, right? I'm specifically referring to like social media, right? How you can like literally get in a fight in a comment section with a complete stranger over an opinion. What, like, why? How do you wake up one day and decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to take over another country. Really? Just. So, anyway, this is an unhappy Canuck in that where that conversation is. Is the channel all about wellness? It won't always be about wellness. It'll be about whatever, right? Yeah, absolutely, Ellen. You think so, Linda? Yes, yeah, because it's a woman's condition. I mean, listen, that's just an example of something that at the time when I started going through that I was like, is there no one talking about this? Like, why are we not talking about this? And not even in terms of, signs, symptoms, and things to look for, but just, a play no different than how we talk about other things, right? Relationship issues, grief, whatever it might be. I think that there is, I know this for myself. I have a need to connect with others in an environment which feels safe, right? Now, obviously, it's the internet, and we can only be as safe as we can be safe, but that doesn't mean that we can't engage in a meaningful way and still protect ourselves, right? Yes, absolutely, Linda. 100%. He's an employee of Putin, so he's just following orders. I mean, I just don't understand. I heard that the whole Greenland thing was staged, according to the reports that have come out. That they people from the hotel where they were staying have reported or spoken to, I guess, a news agency there in Greenland, and had come out and said that they paid homeless people to, put on the caps and do a photo op. And here's the thing, okay? I don't care where you live. Every country has its strengths and its weaknesses, okay? My issue with this, in terms of Canada, is that what he is proposing is going to cause my country to fall into an economic collapse or recession. That's not cool. That is not cool. Anyways, we're not here for that. We're here for other things, but that's how I feel. I'm not happy about it. But I will say, just before I leave, that I've noticed online there's so many wonderful comments and people standing with Canada and Canadians, and I kind of love that certain places are featuring Canadian politicians and saying whatever they feel like they need to say and sort of pushing back and all of that kind of stuff. And that makes me feel really good. And if you haven't seen, oh my goodness, you guys, have you heard Elizabeth May's clapback? She is from the Green Party in Canada, and it was glorious. It was really, 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 really good. The clapback that she gave the Orange Tyrant. It was great. It's all about distractions to keep some people confused and scared. I absolutely agree, Linda. Ellen says, when I was growing up, no one talked about menstruation. It seems that it is verboten to talk about women's health. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Sylvia. You're very kind, my friend. I'd leave USA if I could. Dread what may be coming. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, my anxiety is through the roof. Because it feels very much like how I used to feel, right? And trying to navigate that space, that fear, of like that cloud over top of your head. I also think that it's I'm not sure what the word is. So I'll be honest, I'm not sure what the right terminology is, but in a way, it's easy to sit on the sidelines and look at something and say like, oh, I feel bad about that. Oh, that's terrible. But because he has now targeted my country where I live, I feel now I understand the Americans and the viewpoint in which they come from more so than I could just sitting there watching from the sidelines, if that makes sense, what I'm trying to say. Because like now I'm affected too, right? Yeah. Everyone needs to stop saying his name, and all the drama that swirls around it keeps feeding that energy. I mean, I agree. There are parts of me and days when I'm like, I can't. I just cannot. And then there's other days where I'm like, no. Like, who are you to tell me or you or anyone or to dictate what we can do? Right? Like if you watch the news and you enjoy watching the news and being up on current events, or being on social media and all that comes with that, but because of all of this barrage of word salad that everyone is like, this, that, and the other thing, that you feel like you now can't watch the news or you can't go on social media. No, because you need to put some boundaries in. Like it's a complex situation, in my opinion, that requires like a daily recalibration of how I want to navigate it. And just seems like an awful lot of work for something that doesn't seem important. And when I say that, I hear myself and I'm like, of course it's important. And I don't mean that it's not important, but should it be like the first thought that I have about everything that I'm going to do? You know? Does that make sense what I'm saying? Observe, be aware of what's going on, and don't get sucked into the drama, right? That's the hard part, is not getting sucked into the drama. That's what I think. It's the hard part. Like I said, it's to navigate. Like every day, it's like something new, right? But as I said, leaving it on a positive note, I am pleased as a Canadian. And I don't know that Americans know this, so I'll just share this part with you guys. So I live in Ontario. And Ontario, as well as like British Columbia, are one of the more affluent of the provinces, meaning that we have big population, resources, money, jobs, etc. Right? Not saying that the other provinces don't do well, but if you look at statistics, British Columbia, Ontario, we're kind of like higher, if you will. And since the day that I started school, since the day that I understood, it's like American stations, American news, American TV, American programs, American, like everything. American. We have like very few Canadian TV shows. We have, very few, like any of our famous actors or singers. Once they make it, they move to the States. And so we live in America in the entertainment world. We live in America in the news. Like, we get all the same TV stations that you guys do. Pretty sure you guys don't watch Canadian TV stations, but we only have like 5 or 10, and the rest are all American, right? What's interesting to me is that I know about America because that's just the way it is. And that a lot of Americans don't know that much about Canada. And because of this nonsense, we're learning about some Canadian stuff, and I just personally think that that's kind of nice. Like, why do you not want to know, right? And so I think that part's interesting. Hi, Vicky. How you doing, love? Well, thank you, Linda. I love you right back. I think it's kind of nice that we're learning things, right? About like there's some kind of silver lining in it, is what I'm trying to say, right? And I also okay, so in this Elizabeth May clapback that I was referring to, if you guys haven't seen it, right? She's the leader of the Green Party in Canada. And in that clapback, she addresses the Orange Menace when he says that the Great One, meaning Wayne Gretzky, that is how, his nickname, the Great One, he was a famous hockey player from British Columbia or Alberta. I can't even remember which province he's from, and I apologize. But the clapback was that the Orange Menace said that the Great One, Wayne Gretzky, should run for Prime Minister of the country. And in the clapback, she says, maybe you could get a briefing, because that's not how it works here. We don't elect a prime minister. We elect members of parliament. So your senators and your House of Representatives, right? They are your Congress and your Senate, right? They make up the federal government, right? The governing lawmakers. Those are our members of parliament. And within the members of parliament, they choose leaders of each of the parties. Like, each party chooses a leader. those people, those leaders, then can become the prime minister. When an election is held, if the Liberal government, for example, gets elected, whoever the Liberal Party has selected as their leader is the person who becomes the prime minister. We don't have elections. Therefore, it keeps that whole corruption kind of thing, less. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's less, right? Yes, the Mexican president also has. Yeah, absolutely. You seen that? It was so good. It was so good. They played it on the Midas Touch quite a few times, which was great. And I seen that Justin Trudeau was out and about because he was at Jimmy Carter's funeral, and so he was in different places. Jean Chrétien, which is the former Prime Minister of Canada, he turned 91 Sunday, Monday, and wrote an op-ed, which is hilarious. We don't call them op-eds here, but an op-ed for the Globe and Mail, which is a highly recognized newspaper in Canada, specifically in Toronto, Ontario. And he let Trump know exactly what he thought and tried to like rally Canada together, which I thought was interesting, because he's 91 years old, and he was not pleased. Let's put it that way. Hi, Gina. How you doing, love? Yeah, I just I don't know. I honestly, I'm not at a loss. I'm honestly trying not to like put that negativity out into the universe, because it's so toxic. It's just really, really toxic. But you're just sitting here, you're minding your own business, and whoop, there it is, to quote a song, right? And all of a sudden now everyone's in a panic. Hi, Liz. How you doing? Ooh, it's windy. Can you guys hear that? The howling wind? I hate howling wind. It freaks me out. All right, so I guess we should get to some reading. The world needs to stand up to the bullies. You can see the evidence of that happening everywhere. And that could also be another silver lining, right? That, we sit here and we think, how are we going to do this? How are we going to make it through? It's so toxic. Everyone is so, so divided. And, I need to like lock myself away, and I can't associate with my friends. There is this like uprising of people not being afraid to say how they feel this time around, it seems. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel more often than not the sense of being heard and being acknowledged is huge, right? When you feel like you're not alone, you feel like you have a shot, right? You've got someone who's got your back, someone who understands you. It helps in so many different areas, and I just feel like with all these people sort of coming out and coming forward and speaking their truth and saying how they feel, it's helping the rest of us figure out how we're going to navigate, right? Because we know we're not alone. Oh, you're going to Ohio next month for a new battery? Oh my goodness. Well, we're sending you lots of love, Liz. I hope you're doing okay. Yes, absolutely. Power to the people, Linda. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I did hear something just before I came on tonight. I did hear that the VP elect was on some news program. I don't know what news program it was, but he was on some news program, and they were asking specifically about the January 6th insurrectionists that have already been convicted in the pardon situation. And there seems to be, just my opinion, there seems to be a little bit of backpedaling happening, and there are some people that are not happy about that. And I just think that's interesting. It is interesting. Is it not, my friends? I need to get my hair cut. Look at how long my hair is. All right, Vicky, have a good night. Vicky's going to be back. We're going to be doing some guardian readings for February energy reads at the end of the month. All right. I'll finish my smoke. We'll wrap this up and we'll get started on the readings. Yes, on the 26th. Absolutely. Thanks, Vicky. I look forward to it, my friend. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys heard, but he literally, it just came out today that, what's his name? And I'm telling you, I did not look into it. I did not click on it. I didn't watch it. I didn't listen to it. I didn't read it. I only seen the thumbnail. And we all know, don't go by what the thumbnail says. But according to the thumbnail, that Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, apparently is now tossing around the idea or the statement, or he's come out and alluded to this or something, but withholding aid to California, which now we understand possibly why all of this disinformation about the wildfires, the water, the smelt fish, which is ridiculous. We now understand why all of that has been happening, is so that then they could turn around and do exactly what that thumbnail suggests that they're thinking about doing, is to withhold aid to California. Which, don't bite off the nose. You know what I mean? California has a population of 40 million people. That's almost more than the whole entire country of Canada. California is one of the largest supporters to so many states in terms of economics. I mean, I am not a government official. I am not, a highly educated person. I'm just an average, regular, normal human being. And even I know that is like not a great idea, right? You're looking for trouble by doing such things. Not to mention how inhumane that is. But apparently, and again, like I said, remember, I am a Canadian citizen, so I hear these things in the news. I feel for it at the moment, but, with everything, time passes and you forget things. But apparently that is how his first term went, that he withheld aid several times or tried to, or, threatened that he was going to withhold aid. So, yes, I mean, that, Ellen, the fifth largest world economy if it were a country, and you want to do that? Hi, Pooja. Thank you for being here, my friend. He did similar things to New York during the pandemic. Yeah, it is. I mean, here's the thing. To Linda's point about it's nuts. It is nuts. It, like, none of it is logical. Right? That right there. That right there. I've told you guys this before, you know, I don't watch a lot of other readers. But I've watched a lot of readings recently about that very topic. And there are all manner of things being thrown out there. I don't know. I probably change. I feel like a pendulum. If I was being honest, I change my mind logically like every 15-20 minutes on that. Like I have an argument in my own head about, you know, how I think that that's all going to go down. Anyways, the thing about it is that, you know, it's going to happen, meaning the 20th or the 21st is going to occur. Oh, by the way, did you guys hear? Sorry. Did you guys hear that Carrie Underwood apparently has been I don't know what the right terminology is. I don't know how the inauguration works, meaning like do stars get like that come and perform? Do they get paid? Do they volunteer? Do they want to, or does someone require, like I don't know how it works, but anyways, apparently she's performing at the inauguration. And people are not happy about it, like at all. Not happy about it at all. I will say that I was surprised. This may be a really stupid reason for me to be surprised, but I'm just going to own it. Her husband was a hockey player in Canada. I don't know if he's Canadian, but I know he played in Canada. And because he played here, we adopted him for years, right? Fan support and all of that. And like, what? You're gonna co-sign to this? Like I'm just like, okay. I can't. Anyway, Liz says, I am grateful to be living in Cozumel, but if he cuts my social security, we'll have to work at 77 with heart failure, trusting he will not last long, intuitively not seeing him in for long. Ellen says, I think she is a vegan. The Republicans hate vegans. I love it. And vegetarians. I believe that she is. I know that she has like a whole like thing where she like grows her own vegetables and that. I've seen that. I don't know. She did an Oprah show or something a few years back, and I know that she does that, or she was doing that. Linda says, focus your energy on yourself and create the life you want. Change yourself, change the world. I 100% believe it, Linda, and I 100% am behind that statement, and I'm trying to do that. Every day it gets increasingly difficult when this kind of stuff is happening, like the wildfire thing, you know, because there's lives at stake, and people are, you know, operating from a place of fear, and to use a tragedy to one up somebody. I mean, I don't know if I could like reduce it to one word in terms of how that makes me feel inside. Um, and that part, I feel I have to say it out loud to whomever, because if I don't, it will require so much work for me to like sort that out within me, right? And when I say that, I am specifically referring to myself, not anyone else. And it takes me back to the days of, high anxiety and operating from a place of total fear. Being in a state of panic more so than not. Being nervous all the time, like I have been for the last couple of weeks. And that's when I think I'm still doing that. I'm still working on myself, but that's my way to release it. Whether I say it to you guys or I say it, outside, if I'm just, out there chatting the spirit or something. Do you know what I mean? Like I need to say that. But as a mandate or a mission statement, absolutely, we have to continue, even more so now, to work on ourselves in hopes that that light radiates outwards, to, if nothing else, to attract us to the right kind of energy and the right kind of people. But yeah, it's a lot. Anyways, we will leave that. Thank you for the chat. Oh, and one more thing I do want to mention, that I heard that Rachel Maddow is coming back. I personally really like Rachel Maddow, and I've been loving her public, what are they called? Public servant announcements, where she is going down the list of the cabinet picks and sort of talking about them. And Pam Bondi was the one I just watched a couple of days ago, just a clip on YouTube I watched, and that was enlightening, to say the least. And I encourage you all to watch it. And so apparently it's been announced that she's coming back starting January 20th. And she will be back 5 nights a week from now until like the end of April or something, at least right now. So, oh, you've seen the melon? I mean, I'm just like, yes. So, that report was on a channel called Occupy Democrats. It's kind of like a Midas Touch, or one of those, independent news organization things. And they were the ones that announced it. So Liz in Awe says, would you feel angrier and stronger to understand they are trying to exhaust us to quiet us? Helps me think. So not happening. Yeah. I think it's interesting, that comment, Liz, because, and I've said this, in the midst of my anxiety and trying to figure out how to navigate, that, there were days when I knew I had to get my stuff together, and for one reason or another I couldn't. But I was mentally okay, meaning like I could focus, I could concentrate, I could logically, figure things out. Because there are days that you can't. But in those days, I knew that if I could dig down deep, that if I could almost like, oh, you think, no, not today. If I could get sort of like mad at it almost, as opposed to being fearful of it or sad because of it, that I had a much better chance of forging forward. So yes, for me personally. And I think that ties into what Linda was saying before, right? Like I have to, we have to, you have to, we all have to, create that solid foundation underneath our own selves so that we can stand in that power, right? And put our super capes on and forge forward. That's just my opinion. Ellen says she did one on the IRS nominee. I haven't seen that one. You've come to prefer Occupy Democrats over MeidasTouch? It absolutely is the time to release Sin. Absolutely. Hi, Marby. So this full moon is in the sign of Cancer. It is today, January the 13th. And it's the wolf moon, which I just think is a funny name. Although, given what we've just been talking about, it feels like it makes sense because I could see all of us in need or could benefit from taking ourselves outside and howling at the moon. Like you let your frustrations out. As I was saying before, like I'm outside talking to spirit, right? There's a visual that you guys will be able to get out of your heads tonight. Anyways, this full moon in Cancer today, January 13th, emphasizes renewal, emotional depth, and balance. Now, remember that Cancer is an emotional sign. And so some of us could feel a little emotional. Some of us could feel a little extra sensitive. None of those are bad things, but sometimes we need to keep that in mind, right? Hi, Izzy. So let me know if you want a reading. I have Sin, I have Karen. Anybody else, let me know. And we will go ahead and get started. Harder to keep emotional balance at this time. We've got the Moonology deck. We've got the Spellcasting Oracle, and we've got the Sacred Destiny Oracle. And we're going to be doing the full moon spread from the Moonology book. Oh, did you? I love that. All right, Ellen, I got you. Marby, yes. Izzy, yes. And I have Sin already. All right. All right, here we go. We're going to start with Miss Sin. Put her up there on the screen. Remember that this is for entertainment purposes only, friends. And here we go. Give the cards a good shuffle-uffle. By the way, I did a reading for the Sunday Oracle message, which was about my Aunt Carol. And I just want to say, Linda, your comment really touched me. Thank you so much. That was very, very sweet. I really appreciated your comment. Hi, Anita. All right, Linda, you have yourself a good night, love. Sleep well. All right, Anita, I've got you, love. All right, so for Miss Sin, so card number 1, what is sort of falling away, what you need to release, what you need to forgive. And you've got don't let your pride get in your way. A full moon in Leo. I sort of feel like that's more like I'm using the word stubbornness in the sense that, like, it's like a thorn in your side. Like there's something that is bothering you, or if something is bothering you, I don't think something is, but if something is bothering you, you're going to hold on to that, right? You're going to want to acknowledge it or highlight it in some way. And what this is suggesting is that, is it, pick your battles, choose your battles. It's like that kind of vibe I'm getting. Like, is this really something that you need to highlight, or is this something that you can figure out without? Do you understand what I'm saying? The second card that we've got is what's the full moon showing you? Okay. Full moon is showing you that luck is on your side. Who doesn't want to see that card? New moon in Sagittarius. To me, this is like the flip of a switch when something suddenly makes sense. So I've been trying to do something, I've been doing it over and over and over and over, and I don't feel like it's perfected, or I don't feel like it's working. And maybe this, like, choose where you're going to put your energy feels sort of like a whole new chapter, a whole new thing has been open or made available to you, which feels lucky, right? It's like, when you find a $5 bill or something in a coat from the closet. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. What comes next is the third card. And we have You Are Good Enough, full moon in Virgo. So it feels to me like this full moon energy could be bringing something to the surface that is bothering you in terms of something specific, or just an overall sort of theme. Like, I am upset by this is an injustice, and I want to do something, I need to say something, kind of like what I was saying in the beginning. But if you can work out how to navigate that in a way that is beneficial to yourself, it's going to open you up to different things, new things. And that is going to leave you feeling that inner strength. Right? And I'm hearing Linda G's voice in my head. This too shall pass. So if I'm going to sum up your reading, I want to say, be proactive, not reactive. I almost feel like that reading was for me too. So I'm going to claim it as mine, if that's okay with you. And we're both going to get the same reading. I've got you, Jessica, and I've got you, Pooja. All right. So next up is Ellen. Reminders are good. Absolutely. Listen, we all need reminders. Hi, Fatima. How you doing, love? All right, so card number 1, what is falling away, or what do I need to forgive? And we have manifestation. Before I say anything, let's just keep going with the cards, okay? Card number 2, what's the illuminated full moon showing you? The illuminated full moon is showing you to believe in the impossible. The third card, what comes next? A time to give rather than take. One moment. So I have 2 theories going on in my head, and when I have 2 theories and I'm unclear, I want to make sure I give you what I think is best. And so I pulled some clarifiers, and literally 3 more cards flew out, and there they are. Okay, so we have thriving, we have protection, and we have flexibility. So I now know that my first thought was what I want to go with, and that is this. I feel like very focused on making something happen, bringing something to fruition, bringing something to life. Like, it's like you're all in, which is wonderful. That's not a bad thing. But there's like this feeling of impatience, like it's not working, it's not happening fast enough, like I must not be doing it right. Like I feel like that. And so I lean towards the forgiveness, right? So it says, what's falling away and what do I need to forgive? So releasing any accountability if there is doubt that, like, I must not be doing it right, or I must not be doing it hard enough or good enough, or something to that kind of area or idea, that you're not putting everything you can into manifesting, because these things take time. And so instead of going to that side, we want to go to this side. We want to go to the side of belief and hope, right? That it's going to happen because you're going to make it happen. That there's no timeline for it. When it happens, you will be ready for it and you will be grateful for it. And I'm not saying you don't feel that way, but that's what I'm getting, right? And then that last card, this time to give rather than take. I think this is about you. Not about, giving to other people, but I think this is about giving to yourself as opposed to giving it away to other people, right? Feeding yourself with positivity and empowerment and encouragement, right? This is actually a really positive reading, although it seems a little convoluted. But I feel like, you're on a path that you might not understand. There is a timeline that you are not in control of necessarily. And although logically we understand this, inside we still want what we want when we want it. And there's sort of like a push and a pull that feels like it's happening. But this protection and this thriving are the things that I keep going back to, right? You keep doing what you're doing because what you're doing is working, although you may not see it or feel it because it's not going according to what your plan is. Or at least that's how it feels. But you are being guided here, right? So all you can do is navigate to the best of your ability, which is where the flexibility comes in. So I want to suggest to you, if you have done this before, to visualize. So you manifest what you want to manifest, and then you take it one step further, and now you visualize it. And that helps you to embrace the surroundings in the visualization, right? At least that works for me. I'm still coming up with different ideas on how to make it happen. Yes, I'll remain flexible. And you like it to come together in a year. Yeah. I hope that makes sense, Ellen. I sort of feel like I was a bit all over the place there, but I hope you understand what I mean. It feels very encouraging and very positive. I just don't know that we, or you in this case, sees it as that, right? But keep working on it, my friend. Keep working on it. All right, so Kieran says, I was thinking of getting transcranial magnetic stimulation. Is this a good idea? If not, what will help with my mood imbalances? So we're going to do the full moon reading, and let's see if we can figure something out for this question, okay? And I'm going to use my Sacred Destiny Oracle for this. Okay, so card number 1, what's falling away? What do I need to forgive? You've got transformation. I don't know that people would get this necessarily, but I get this. I totally understand this card in this position. When you live with pain or sadness or, grief or loss or something like that, you just want it to go away. You want it to stop. I am over it. I am done being this way. I'm done feeling this way. That sort of vibe, right? I just want it to go away. I want to be the new improved version of myself. Want to live my life. There's like I'm going to use the word desperation. There's a better word, I'm sure, but desperation is the thing that popped into my mind. It's and when I say that, what I mean, or what I'm trying to say, is like, oh my God, please just make it stop. Just for even just a day, please just make it go away, right? Like that kind of desperation, not like I'm desperate, but desperate for change, desperate for something new. And trying so hard to make something happen. And similarly to Ellen's, it doesn't feel like it's happening fast enough, the way we thought it was going to, the way we wanted it to, etc. Right? So I almost feel like there is a sense of, I'm so busy wishing for something that I am not seeing what's actually happening, right? And when it comes to a situation like this, like specifically about what you're saying or about your question, right? And you say, will help with my mood imbalances. I am imagining that if you were into this kind of length, this kind of treatment, possibly, that you are having, this isn't like one mood imbalance, per month. It is a thing that is happening often, and you're over it. Like, you're just over it. You want it to go away and you want to be done with it. And so that's what I mean by the desperation. So what is the illuminated full moon showing you? The full moon is showing you fulfillment. Yes, what Gina says, not in desperation, but out of desperation. Thank you, Gina. I appreciate the assistance. Very well said. So the full moon is showing you that there are options, that there are resources, that there are things that you could do. Like in other words, there's this element of hope that's being interjected here, that like not all hope is lost, right? So the idea that this could even be a possibility, right, should have you jumping for joy. Not saying it's not, should have you jumping for joy, as opposed to looking at it and saying, oh my God, I don't know, and oh my God, and what if I can't get it, and what if it doesn't work? And do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's that kind of feeling that I'm getting, right? The possibility that you could find something that could help you and be of benefit to you, like, bask in that, embrace that, and like hold on to that, because that's a beautiful thing. It's hope, right? What comes next is relaxation. Now, I'm going to try to say this in a way that like, I'm not trying to interject myself in your reading, but I don't know how else to explain what I'm trying to say. I know how this part feels, right? When you want something so desperately and you're trying with every fiber of your being, but it's just not coming together. All that does is completely the opposite of what you hope it's going to do, right? You're not trying in the right way when you're in that kind of energy, when you're in that kind of vibe, right? Because you're doing it from a place of like, it has to work. Please, like, it has to work, right? Again, that like sort of desperate, like, please. You're all stiff and you're tight, and you can't absorb that kind of energy in a positive way, right? You can't embrace that kind of energy in a positive way. So what I want to say to you, to sum this up, is this: do not be so hard on yourself. First and foremost, if this thing is something that you can do that could be of benefit for you, then you need to do your homework, and you need to do your research, and you need to consult doctors and, people that maybe or you could get to know, that have it, that have had this experience, and learn everything that you learn. And while you're learning all the things that you can learn about, how this could benefit you or affect you or whatever, what it could bring to your life, how it could change it, good, bad, or otherwise, grab a hold of the idea that there's something that can help, and how terrific and how awesome that would be, right? Let that empower you. Because the thought that things can be different is affecting the mind. And mindset is half the battle, right? I've said many times here that people say all the time, choose happiness, choose joy. It is ultimately a choice. But when you come from a situation where you are held hostage by an illness or an injury or a disease or whatever it may be, chronic pain, you don't always feel like you have a choice. And knowing that this thing is out here, that this is an option that could potentially help you, that could benefit you, is giving you a choice. And I want you to imagine that. That's what I want you to focus on. That's what I want you to visualize. That's what I want you to manifest. The option that there's something available that might make a difference. And let your body just absorb that so that you can release some of your tension that I only imagine that you walk around with, right? And do your research, right? Gather all the facts that you can, speak to the professionals, the medical people, and see if they can help you to understand, to answer all the questions that you have, right? Make sure that you know exactly what you're getting yourself into before you do it. That's what I got for you, Karen. I hope that somehow answers your question, and I appreciate you being here and trusting me with that question. It means a lot to me. So thank you. Fatima is saying goodnight. Good night, Fatima. Hi, Warrior Widow. All right, so now we're going to go to Marby. You were just checking out the full moon? All right. Yeah, it is a good one tonight. It's the wolf moon. We were talking earlier for a long time about how things are, and maybe we should go out and howl at the moon. Oh, I love this. Beautiful. All right. First card is what is falling away. So what you're releasing, right? And what do I need to forgive? It's interesting how these cards are coming out. We've got peace. Let me continue. What's the illuminated full moon showing you? We've got this card of family. Okay. What comes next? So what comes after the full moon is inspiration. I don't know if there has been a disagreement or a fight with someone in your family, or you're feeling like you're not being supported, underappreciated, it's something like that. But it's I don't know that it's like a thing. It could be like a really little thing, but it's bothering you. Like it's like a thorn in your side that you just can't get rid of. And I think that you need to let that go. You need to let that go. You just need to, I did what I did. I said what I said. The situation is what the situation is. I can't do anymore. I'm not going to give it any more energy. And I'm just releasing it out into the universe. And I'm ridding myself of that weight. And by doing that, hopefully, the expectation, yes, from your family and from your sisters. Okay. So the expectation of, I need them to do this for me and they're doing that for me. There needs to be like an understanding, right? So specifically with that second card, what's the illuminated full moon showing me, right? Family. You know that saying, I can call my sister a bitch, but you're not allowed to, right? Because she's my sister. Sorry. But that's how I feel. Like, love them. You know how like they, like they say that the husband that like leaves the cap off the toothpaste, that's why you got divorced. Instead, love them because they left the cap off the toothpaste, right? Like, try to release the negativity, the emotions of it, and then re-embrace it from an element of like, I love her because she's my sister, or I understand her because she's my sister. I'm gonna find common ground with her because she's my sister, right? And through that combination of those two things, there is some sort of like spark. There's some sort of inspiration, and that's setting the pace for going forward, right? I do want to say to you that if you've had a fight or a disagreement or a negative conversation with your sister over the past little while, to be a little bit careful over the next couple of days if you speak to her, because with this moon and with this energy being in the sign of Cancer, family relations and emotions, it could be taken out of context. So just be careful how you navigate that. That goes for everybody. FYI, that goes for everyone. That's not just for you, Marby. But that's what I got for you, love. All right. Hi, Teresa. I've seen you pop in there. Izzy is up next. All right, let's go over here. Izzy would like a reading. Someone else popped in. I can't see their comment now, but someone else popped in. Hello, whoever came in. Sorry. Because I'm shuffling. I can't scroll back up in my comments right now. So somebody else came in. Warrior Widow is saying my name should be Crier Talker. Laugh out loud. It's all good, my friend. It is all good. Okay, card number 1. What you should forgive. Or sorry, what's falling away, or what do I need to forgive? A time for healing. Here's your first card. What's the illuminated full moon showing you? Conclusions are within reach. And what comes next? You have, it's time to take action. I'm pulling one more card here for this, a time for healing. Okay. So the second card that I got was diligence. So, Izzy, I'm not trying to tell you, who you are or what you do. I can only tell you what I'm getting in the cards. And I sort of feel like, I got some stuff. I mean, don't we all have stuff, right? And like I'm pushing it down, I'm pushing it away, I'm putting it in the back of the closet, stuffing it in my back pocket, but it's just not going away. It always creeps up. Somehow, some way, it always creeps up. It's time to get rid of it. It's time for you to unpack it. It's time for you to release it, to not give all that energy to whatever that thing is, right? Because moving it all around within you, keeping it tucked away in a hiding spot in a box, requires an awful lot of effort and a lot of energy. So it's time to deal with it, whatever that is. Okay. And I think that when you do that, when you go through that process of releasing and lifting that weight from yourself, that things are start to make sense. Things start to fall into place for you. And then you can take the action, the inspired action to move forward, to get past it and feel free once and for all. That's what I've got for you. Yes, Maria, I am here, love. I did say that someone came in and said hi, but I couldn't scroll up because I was shuffling. So hello, my friend. Thank you for being here. That's what I got for you, Izzy. I hope that makes sense. Hope it is clear. Hope it resonates. Anita is next. Yeah, I have been here for a bit, but we talked for 45 minutes, so. Because that's what we do here. All right, let's go to Miss Anita's card. And I did see your question, Warrior Widow. Miss Anita. Does that make sense, Izzy, or not? I hope it does. Hope it resonates. Okay, first card. What is falling away? What do I need to forgive? Right? Remember, full moons are all about releasing what no longer serves you, right? And you have lighten your load. I mean, if ever there is a card that says, get rid of what no longer serves you, there you have it, lighten your load. So in terms of what is falling away, what do I need to forgive? If you need to release something, if there's any kind of thing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be like a big thing, right? It just has to be a thing, just a thing. Maybe you have a crap day at work. Don't carry it around. It's possible that you have a tendency to carry things, meaning that you have a lot of responsibilities and you try to be all things to everybody. A lot of women sort of take on that kind of role, right, where they try to be super women, and so it could be leaning into that. But I just sort of feel like just like take advantage of the energy and do a release. Doesn't have to be specific, just whatever it is, just let it go. Okay. What's the illuminated full moon showing me? The illuminated full moon is showing you reconciliation. Okay, so what does that mean? Just as the picture implies, it's a give and take, an energetic exchange, right? Think of the Six of Pentacles in the tarot deck, right? Give and receive. What you get, what you put out is what you get back. So if you can release and start from a place of peace, you put the peace out there, you get the peace back. Does that make sense? Thirdly, what comes next? You've got spirit guide. So to me, this means that in the process of doing this release, in the process of letting the weight go from you, that you either feel like you have a deeper understanding, a deeper connection. There is something sort of spiritual that could occur in terms of that exact moment where, I don't know how to articulate this. Have you guys ever been in a situation where like you do something and you just instantly know or have that like gut instinct reaction and you're like, okay, I get it now. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that is what's upon you. As long as you can lighten your load, right? Do that service for yourself. You know what I mean? All right. That is for Anita. Now we have Jessica Lynn. I hope that makes sense, Anita. Okay, Liz. Have a good night, love. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Take care. Warrior says, is there anything I can do to help you? Just feel that I need to ask that graphics, computer stuff. Maybe sorry, random. Just got that. Have to say that thing. I appreciate the offer. I'm good. Jessica Lynn, full moon reading for you, my darling. Oh, shoot. How crazy is that I used this deck and I got the same, almost the same darn cards? You've seen me shuffle, right? Card number 1, what is falling away? What do I need to forgive? And we've got diligence yet again. I'm getting something, but I'm not. I'm a little fuzzy on it. It feels like I don't know. It's like you're being like too rigid or too structured. Let us continue. What's the illuminated full moon showing you? And I've got voyage. So to me, this is the journey. This is the dream, right? This is the vision, where I want to go. But do you see here the baby? I don't know if you can see, there's like wires. It's being like held almost like a like the whale or the shark above it is like a parachute of sorts, right? Like the baby's being protected, it's being guided. What comes next is transformation. Now, in this particular case, I feel like it's freedom, right? So don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so structured. Don't be so rigid, right? That it has to be only this way. There's only one way to do this, and I must stick to this. Be open. right? Enjoy the journey, right? I say this so often, and I mean this. It's important to have dreams and goals, of course. And yes, there's destinations and, the end game. Where do I want to end up? Where do I see myself? But there is so much beauty in the journey itself. There's so many things that can be learned along the way. So be open to that, right? No, Maria, I didn't miss your reading. You're at the very end, my love. We've got transformation as our last card, which is what comes next. So to me, this is freedom. And I want you to look at these three cards. I'm going to show them to you again, right? Specifically look at the images. You've got a bird with the wings spread out, right? The freedom, right? The soaring through the air, the freedom. The expression of that freedom. You've got this whale carrying its baby, right? Flying through the air, freedom. And then you've got this butterfly with the wings, freedom. So don't be so structured. Try not to be so rigid. Right? Try to let your hair down and, have a little bit of fun and enjoy that journey, embrace the journey. And with that is going to come this transformation, which is a feeling of freedom, right? That there's more than one way to achieve something. Right? I love that for you. All right. Puja is up next, and here we go. Oops, hold on 1 second. All right, here we go. You're welcome, Jessica. I love it when the cards tell me like an additional story or a different side of the story or different than what I intuit from it. And I just noticed that as I was looking at the butterfly, I was like, oh my gosh, everything is like open and doing this sort of like flapping in the wind. You know how like when a bird or a butterfly just sort of flaps its wings, but like it's not moving? Right? A whale does that with its tail, right? And there's something really cool about that. It's graceful. It's beautiful. It's kind of mesmerizing all at the same time, right? And so to me, that's freedom. All right, here we go for Miss Puja. Card number 1 is what is falling away, or what do I need to forgive? Your hard work is paying off. Like, I feel like me saying this is not a guess because I kind of know you, right? You come here, we do readings for you. You are very, very goal oriented. You have a really high bar for yourself. And you have a plan. I need to be here. I want to accomplish this, that kind of thing. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if we're not seeing the perceived reward fast enough, that can sort of work in reverse for us, right? We beat ourselves up, we get down on ourselves, we get on the hamster wheel, we start doing the negative self-talk, and that whole cycle sort of goes for a spin. So recognizing and the realizing that who I am in this moment is completely good enough. I'll get there when I get there, because I'm doing everything that I can to make that happen, right? So just sort of opening the gates to the limitations that we've set on ourselves, right? Like, I have to be here by this time. Just let that go a little bit, right? What's this illuminated full moon showing you? And this is just backing up what I just said, right? Step out of your comfort zone. I think for you, stepping out of your comfort zone would be to not have that feeling of, I have to do this way, right? Like, I have to have 99 or 100% or forget it. Let that go. Take the, if it feels like, how like you have a faucet and you turn it like, and it's off, and then you just give it another tweak. It's almost like that kind of a feeling, like it's so tight. Just loosen it up a little bit. That's all. Okay. What comes next? A time for healing. I so want to encourage you, Pooja, to do this thing that I used to do when I would try to navigate going to work every day with my anxiety, right? And I'm not trying to make this about me. It just helps me to make my point, right? When I first started working again after the loss of my mom, with my father terminal and my anxiety on the horizon before I was diagnosed, I wanted desperately to go back to work, because that's the only place that I knew how to be Kelly, right? That's where Kelly felt like she was Kelly. The problem is I never knew when my anxiety was going to go through the roof. And so sometimes it would take me 3 hours to get to work, or 4 hours to come home, or whatever the case may be. Have to stop and make pit stops and etc. And that was the thing that was in my mind all the time. What if? And then I'd reach my destination, and I'd be so grateful that I reached my destination that I would beat myself up for, however long it took me to get there. The part I was not focusing on, the part that I wasn't allowing myself to see, the part that I wasn't allowing myself to embrace, was the fact that I did it. I did it, right? I could check that box off. It didn't matter how long it took me to get there. The fact is, I did it, right? I discounted and threw away all of the hard work and all of the effort that it took me to get up and out of the house and get myself to that place. I discounted all of that. And in a flash, I would get down on myself because I wasn't doing what I thought I should be doing at said time. It can't be that hard on yourself, because it's so much pressure, right? The expectations that we set for ourselves are like up here. And sometimes we need to reduce those so we feel like our head is above water, because we set these impossible standards for ourselves. So, thing that I used to do to encourage myself every day was I had a mirror by the door, which I know that it's against feng shui, but and as I was leaving the house, I would look at myself in the mirror and I give myself a wink. I tell myself to have a great day, tell myself I loved myself, I look good, whatever it might be. You got this, something like that. And it just gave me enough pep in my step, as I love to say, to walk out the door with confidence. And all along that drive, I would say to myself, like, you got this, you're okay, you got this, you're doing great. And I would just constantly encourage myself until I actually started believing and hearing, well, hearing and believing what I was saying out loud, right? So that's what I encourage you to do. Do something where you can, affirmations around the house, something like that, where you just continuously see and absorb that where you are right now and what you're doing is okay. And that's it. That's all. Don't be so hard on yourself. It is definitely outside the box and difficult to think of that. Absolutely. All right. So now, where are we? So I hope that makes sense. All right. So now we go to Warrior Widow says, can I ask a question? When I was living on a base a few years ago, some crazy things happened, like microwaves and sonic booms and weird phone things. So much. Was it me or military stuff? Or you're very welcome, Pooja. Thank you so much for asking the question. I appreciate you, my love. All right. Warrior Widow, I have to be honest. I'm not really getting a sense one way or the other. I don't know that it's going to come out in the cards, but we can try. We're doing full moon reading, so we have to stick to that formula. But you never know. But I will say this to you before I even throw any cards. If your intuition tells you one thing or the other, then that is the thing that I think that you should trust. Don't be sorry. Nothing to be sorry about. Whoops. But that's what that would be my first piece of advice, is to trust your intuition. If your intuition tells you that it was something to do with something else other than military stuff, then that's what I would tell you to go with. And when I say that, I'm answering the question without answering the question, if you understand what I'm saying. Because I think that you're already telling me what you believe in the question. All right, the first card is, what is falling away and what do I need to forgive? I mean, you guys heard me shuffle, right? We've got peace. The second card, what's the illuminated full moon showing me? We have commitment. What comes next? Reconciliation. Now, if we're going to make this about this question, so we don't know what this thing is, right? What this situation was all about. It causes us to question, not distress necessarily, but to question, right? Maybe fall down a couple of rabbit holes with what ifing, if that makes sense. What's being illuminated is a commitment. The commitment to me is the trust in, do I believe in what I'm hearing, what I'm sensing, what I'm feeling, what I'm intuiting, or do I not? You know how you feel. You know what you think. Right? So trust that. And the reconciliation, do you see that? Look at that image. The two women bent over with the fist bump, causing that star with sort of like a sphere coming out from the star, encapsulated by a big giant moon. So to me, this is an energetic exchange with the universe, right? With spirit sort of watching over or guiding the whole experience. So to me, this is the thing that you speak of, right? The microwave and the sonic booms. This is the commitment to trust yourself, because you already know what you feel happened, but you're trying to logically discount it. But you keep coming back to it. So now to test out the theory, I want you, before you go to bed tonight, to say to your angels, your spirit guides, your team, to come to you in a dream, and can they clarify this for you? Can they tell you something? Can they show you something so that you can have this question answered, right? Wake up in the morning and record what you remember. And if you don't understand it, you ask them again. And they will clarify for you in your dreams whether this was a thing or this wasn't a thing. I think you already know it was a thing. But for whatever reason, you're questioning it. And that's okay. That's okay. We all have to learn to trust it. So ask for spirit to help you. That's totally cool. I love how that question got answered. I'm just saying. All right. So Maria says, what will happen with me and Philip? Will we break up? Okay, so we're not doing relationship readings tonight, but we are doing full moon. So I will try to answer the question within the cards that I get. Okay. I'm sorry that you feel lonely, Maria. It's not a good feeling when you feel alone. Absolutely not. He's not talking with me, and he doesn't want to move out. Well, that's super helpful, isn't it? Is there a friend or a family member that maybe you can go and stay with so that you can have some, I mean, you don't have to answer me here, but some space where you can, have some time to think in a sort of, safe, less tense environment? That is something that I would encourage you to do. All right, so the first card, and yes, Gina, if you want a reading, absolutely, love. Card number 1, which is what's falling away. What do you need to forgive? You need some healing, right? You need to figure this out. And I don't want this to come across the wrong way, so I don't want this to be misinterpreted. I'm a tarot reader. I can only tell you what's in my cards for what I'm doing. I can't fix the problem. this is several times that you've come in here and said these kinds of things, and I am so incredibly concerned about you, and I feel so bad that you find yourself in this situation, but you need to do something to help yourself. If you don't have any friends or family that can assist you, then you need to reach out to the authorities, whether that be a doctor, a therapist, the police, somebody, someone in the court system. I don't know where you live, so I don't know how to advise you where that is concerned, but you need to remove yourself from the source of the problem, right? You can't live your life in limbo like that and expect to excel or to be even just happy, right? It's so tense and stressful. And so some healing needs to occur for you, which means you have to get to the source of the problem. You need to be able to unpack it and figure out how you feel about it. And this is just my opinion, you can't do that when you're in that kind of tense environment, right? It's too much pressure. So what is the full moon showing you? Literally, the full moon is showing you to lighten your load, which is exactly what I just said, right? You need to find a situation, a space, a place where you can think clearly and figure things out, and that takes time and it takes work, right? Now, what comes next? If you can do that, if you can allow yourself to heal and find support and find the help that you need, if you can start to lighten the load by utilizing these resources and these, support groups, friendships, whatever it might be, next comes your willpower. Okay, so this is your strength. This is your purpose. This is your foundation. Basically, all that means is that through the healing, through the help of, the people that are trained in these kinds of things that can tell you what to do and to show you how to do certain things and, where you can find certain resources, that is only going to strengthen you. It's going to make you feel whole again. And that's what your goal is to feel whole again, right? That you feel like you can operate to the best of your ability as a singular, solitary person. I'm not talking about I'm in a relationship, I'm not in a relationship. I'm talking about just Maria. Maria has to become whole again, like one solid person, in order for her to function at her maximum capacity, right? And you can't do that when you're afraid, when you're upset, when you're tense, when you're whatever, right? And so you need to find a space and or a place where you can logically think these things out and come to terms with it. And if you want to be gone, you need to reach out to whatever resources you can to get yourself to that spot. I love that, Gina's place. Maybe a public library, out to the park, if that's a possibility. Just some place where you can think quietly and try to process what is happening, what you want to happen, and how you're going to do that. A library is also a great place to find some resources, some self-help books, right? Things that might encourage you or, give you some ideas or suggestions of things that maybe you have not thought of prior. Well, thank you, Marie. That's very kind. I'm glad that you feel comfort being here. I've been there in a not so pleasant situation, which is why I was divorced. This is just my personal opinion, tarot reading aside. And I believe I said this to you or something similar to you before, prior, like another night. I want you to really think about what I'm saying, okay? I understand, abusive, toxic, narcissistic type situations and why we are drawn to them and how those types of people can, get control of us. All of that aside, because I don't know that this person that you're with is any of those things. All of that aside, I want you to ask yourself this question. You said that you like coming here, that I make you feel comfortable. This channel makes you feel comfortable. If you came in here and I didn't acknowledge you, if I didn't speak to you, would you still feel comfortable? Probably not. Probably wouldn't feel comfortable at all. Certainly not to share, particulars of your life, and then you would be gone. So why are you allowing someone who you claim to love, who I'm assuming has at one point or another declared love for you, or like for you, why would you accept that from them? So that's one thought. Let's go flip side of that, okay? Relationship 101 right here, okay? That person knows you. That person knows you probably better than you know yourself sometimes. And they know that by not talking to you, that it makes you sad. That it hurts you. Because they know that you have no family and that you have no friends. And that you have childhood trauma and issues and whatever, right? So in other words, they know what buttons to press. They know exactly how to make you react when they need you to react. Now, I don't know anything about your relationship, but I'm going out on a limb, and I don't want you to tell me this. I don't need you to confirm this for me. They probably did something wrong. You got mad, stood up for yourself, said, I don't like it, and now you're being punished because you did that. And the way that they punish you is by letting you know that they are in control. I'm not going to talk to you, and that's going to cripple you. It's going to take all your strength away. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Do you know what I would do if someone didn't talk to me? Someone who claimed to love me? I already know what I would do because I did it. I'd be like, no, not me. Sorry. I'm out of here. And when I say that, I realize everyone's situation and circumstances are different. I'm not proud of this, but I am incredibly proud of it. I left. I didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. But I was not going to stand there and take that anymore because I knew that if it got to a certain particular point, something really awful was going to happen above where I was. Like, meaning where the situation was, something really awful was going to happen. And so, once again, I am totally encouraging you to reach out to anyone that you can. Hotlines, support groups, go to the library, take out self-help books, doctors, there's got to be someone that can give you something, you know what I mean, that can assist, to help you navigate this space. That's the first thing that you need to do. And the second thing that you need to do is to take as best care of yourself as you can. And the moments when you can, allow yourself the opportunity to just breathe and feel lighter, right? Like to let some of that tension go, right? Yeah, that sounds like narcissistic abuse is what it is. To me, that's what it sounds like. Again, for entertainment purposes only. I'm not trying to define anybody, but that's what it sounds like. It's emotional manipulation, and like if you all have had a conversation where you have said, like, we don't like each other now, but due to financial reasons or whatever, this is how it has to be, and you've come to an agreement that this is how it is. That's a whole other conversation, but it doesn't sound like that's how it is. You are literally living from moment to moment, never knowing whether he's going to freak out, he's going to say something, he's not going to say anything. And who wants to go there and be in that energy, right? Who wants to be in a relationship like that? Because that's not a relationship. I mean, think about it. If you had an animal, would you treat your animal like that? Would you have an animal and then like ignore it or tell it to sit in the corner all night long? No. Someone who loves somebody does not treat them badly. A, when they know that it hurts them. B, because they think that they can. Or C, just because. So, for example, if I said to you, don't do that, that bothers me, and you continue to do it over and 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 over again, then two things are happening here that you've made crystal clear to me. You do not care about how I feel. You've made that perfectly clear, because you're not listening to what I'm saying to you. You're not taking my feelings into consideration. If you're not taking my feelings into consideration, why am I sitting here stressed and upset and concerned and all of the things? Because I'm trying with everything in me to make you see and hear me. You've made it crystal clear you don't care. And if you don't care, guess what? Neither do I. Right? You guys are funny. Amen. Exactly. Yeah, he definitely sounds like narcissistic. Definitely. Ten to one, and I'm not, and I shouldn't even, this part I shouldn't say. Right? Entertainment purposes, allegedly, don't sue me. Sounds like he's done something and you're getting punished for it. Like he's not happy with himself, so you're being punished for it. But here's the thing, and I'm going to say this, and this is probably going to go against everything that they say to do when it comes to dealing with people that are narcissists or that are emotionally abusive. And when I tell you these stories, I tell you these stories for a reason, right? Not because I'm getting brownie points or I'm trying to get sympathy, but because when I'm speaking to you, I'm not speaking as tarot reader Kelly. I'm speaking to you from personal lived experience. Okay, so I was married before, as I said. I was leaving my husband. It was known I was leaving. I had said I was leaving, but I was waiting for my apartment to be ready that I was going to move into. And I got a phone call that he injured himself at work. Seriously, injured himself at work. And I am ashamed to admit that my first thought was, oh shit, it just ruined my whole plan. But that's the truth. I went to the hospital to pick him up. He got in the car. I got in the car. I was driving, obviously. I just picked him up from the hospital. And it was complete silent treatment. Right away, like you're walking on eggshells, right? It's a tense situation to begin with when someone is hurt, right? And we drove up to a set of lights, traffic lights. And because we were like in what we call like an industrial or a commercial environment, there wasn't like traffic, if you understand what I mean, right? Because it was in the middle of the daytime. And he called me a really nasty name. And I turned around and I looked at him. And I turned back to look at the road and I went to say something. And I guess he didn't like that I turned away or whatever. And he ripped the keys out of the ignition of the car and flung them out his window into the grass. And he said, well, I guess you're F now, aren't you? So many things were going through my head, but it's like you literally just put us in danger to be like, you know, to prove your masculinity or your control or your power. And I don't know how, and I don't know why. I am grateful, but in that moment, I realized the stupidity of what was happening, meaning that I was trying so hard to make this thing work that was clearly not going to budge. And so in that moment, I was not thrilled, obviously, but you know, hindsight's 2020. I then came to realize that I was very glad that that moment occurred, because that moment was the absolute push that I needed to leave and never look back. Hi, Anna, or Anne, sorry. The point is, you know the right from wrong because you're here asking the questions, right? You obviously want a change because you're here asking the questions. We can support you. We can encourage you and try to inspire you and motivate you and lift you up. But only you can make that decision to make that change. I think that you understand that you are worth way more than how you are being treated in terms of your value as a human being and how you value yourself. And I'm just going to say one more thing before we close, and that is this. If you moved out and you were by yourself, you're going to be no less lonely than you are being in a situation where someone is there and refuses to speak to you as a form of punishment. I'd rather be alone with my own thoughts than be in the company of someone who treats me as if I was stupid or undeserving of time and love and compassion. All right. I wish you nothing but the best of luck. Truly, I do. All right. So, and we are doing full moon readings tonight. So I'm going to use the same format that I've been using for everybody, but I will try to answer your question in that format. That's kind of what I've done for everybody. Okay. Oh, that's okay. And thank you for subscribing. That's very kind. Okay. So, hello. My question: do you see we will break up with L-Man, or this friendship will continue? I am a new one here. No, I'm just going to say, Anne, that I don't like necessarily reading on questions like this, because that other person isn't here to represent themselves, or at least to represent their energy to me. So I can read like how the energy is for you around this as a relationship, but not their part in it, if that makes sense. Whoops. I just had a whole bunch of cards flip out the back side of this. So let's do this way. And let's... Oh, okay. So you have 4 cards come out. Okay. Which we're only supposed to have 3. So you have an extra one. Okay, so the first card, again, this is a full moon reading format. Okay, so the first card represents what is falling away, or what do you need to forgive. Okay. And the first card that you have here is opportunity. So let me reveal all the cards, and then I will sort of like tell you what I think. Okay. The second card is what is illuminated by this full moon. So in other words, what is the full moon showing you, right? What's the message it's trying to give you? Okay, and it's got embracing. And the third card, which is what comes next. So what comes after the energy of the full moon, and you have protection. And the fourth card that fell out is flow. So I'm going to be honest with you and tell you that when I first threw these cards down and I looked at this, what I felt like is that there is something for you to gain in terms of your feelings and this person's feelings in the energy of a relationship, right? But I feel strongly don't jump in with both feet, like sort of like just very casually, step by step, take it, right? Don't try to define it. Don't try to put it in a box. Just sort of go with it, right? In other words, there is a possibility that this is real and genuine and could lead to something, as long as you have the understanding or the knowledge that, you know, you want to have your boundaries up and be careful, and just take it slow. Okay. And then I seen your comment here, and it says, I think the issue is him and his attitude, but anything would help. And then you said, We have almost zero communication now because of him. And so I'm going to stick with my original rating because I don't like to change my rating. Okay. So opportunity is the thing that needs to be healed or to be released. So in my mind, that is, because I said this is the energy around the relationship where you are concerned, right? So to me, this is you thinking like, this is who I want to be with. You need to let that go. Follow me here. Okay. What is this full moon showing you? What's it highlighting for you? We've got embracing. That's the relationship itself. So the moon, the light of the moon is showing you the entirety of your relationship. And the question is, do you go with it or do you not go with it? If you're here asking the question, I think you already know the answer. And there you've written it. And I am at the breaking point. I was patient for months. Right? So then the next card is the final card, which is the card of what comes next. And that is protection. And so this is now saying that here's how I want to explain this. Yes, Gina, absolutely, love. Here's how I want to explain this to you, okay? And I'm not trying to be confusing. So the moon card in tarot, okay? The moon card in tarot means, if you get a moon card, that the moon is either giving you enough light to see the path ahead, like just enough so that you're not afraid of the dark, right? Or it's highlighting a shadow. A shadow is your secret. It's the thing that you try to keep hidden, right? The thing that you don't want to see. The reality that you don't want to face. Now look at that card. It's the moon. The moon is giving you the opportunity to see this for what it is, right? The embracing could be, why are you holding on to something that you already know is not working? Like by your own admission, not me feeling that, but that's your own admission, right? Why are you holding on to something that you know is not going anywhere? And this protection card, that means that you are on a path, you are on a journey, that spirit is embraced you. Spirit has sort of like wrapped you in its embrace, and that you are on a path that you may not understand why you're on it, but there's something for you to learn in the course of this relationship, right? There you go. New beginnings. So here's what I want you to do, okay? Suggestion. When there is a full moon, we have rituals, right? Everybody's rituals are individual to them. There is no like scientific way to do it. But a great thing to do for anyone who's holding on to stuff. It could be big, it could be small, it could be many things, it could be one thing, right? Take out a sheet of paper and write down what is bothering you, what is upsetting you. You can write a story, you can do it short form, a bunch of things, one thing, do it like you were writing a letter to them, however which way you want to do it. Okay. Maybe set up some crystals around yourself. Maybe if you're outside, you can light a fire. Read, say a prayer, read the letter out loud, read what you've written out loud. Okay. The idea is that you're putting action to the ritual, right? That's what makes it a ritual. So you're going to read out what you want to do. I want to be strong. I want to do this. I don't want to do that, etc. Right? And then you're going to ask that the universe rid you of this negativity. It's going to take those things that you've written on that letter, those things that you have declared, the things that are bothering you, and it is going to take it off of you. Imagine that you have a backpack on, this weight of this situation, this relationship, and you're like hunched over. It's going to take the weight off and you're going to stand up straight again. Okay? So you're going to release what no longer serves you. That's the weight that you're carrying, the negativity, the sadness, the pain, the whatever. And you're going to invite joy and peace into your heart. And you're going to say that out loud. Okay? And when the ritual is over, you're going to say your prayer and say thank you. And then you're going to figure out how you're going to move forward. And I appreciate what you're saying, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but two things normally can be true at the same time, but those two things cannot be true. And here's why they can't be true. Okay? You can't have someone that you want to get closer to you when you also say that he is nowhere unless he comes back and explains. That we have almost zero communication now because of him. Those two things don't work out. That is a benefit to both people. That only works out as a benefit to one person, and it's not you. If what you're saying in the chat is true and correct, and that he is not invested as you are in this relationship, you need to ask yourself why you are invested in that relationship. Why would you invest your time and your energy and your heart into someone who would not do the same for you? You need to ask yourself that. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just suggesting that you have that conversation with yourself. And a full moon is a great time to do that, right? It's where you release what no longer serves you. You invite the positivity into your life and you set intentions to how you move forward. No amount of tarot, not a good tarot reader anyway, and no amount of oracle cards is going to make me tell you yes or no. The energy around you in this full moon is that you need to use the moon to assist you to figure and sort things out. And knowing that going forward that you are protected, you're on a path, you're on a fact-finding mission, I'm going to call it, right? That like you're being spiritually guided. In terms of your relationship with him, right? There's too much free will and too much free choice, and I'll be honest, too much ping pong for me to even be able to say it, or that I'm comfortable saying, if I was being totally honest. You have to figure out what you want and what you're willing to do to get what you want. right? But I would encourage you to have a long conversation with yourself as to, how you're going to navigate this path. This isn't me saying this. This is me saying this based on what you said. You said he doesn't communicate with you, right? That he's nowhere to be found until he needs something from you. But then in the next breath, you say, but you don't want to delete him. Why? That implies that there's some work that you need to do on yourself, because there feels like I mean, this isn't intuitive. This is just based on your comments, that there's some self-esteem issues that are happening. Like you don't feel like you're worthy or deserving of someone who appreciates, respects, and loves you the way that you deserve to be loved, appreciated, and respected. And so you need to do some work on yourself to empower yourself, right? And figure out, like, what does that look like for me, right? I hope that makes sense. And deleting someone from your life, I mean, no one says that you have to delete anyone from your life, right? That seems very harsh and very hard. Why can't you just do your thing and that person does their thing? Do you know what I mean? Like, delete seems very harsh. And maybe just exploring that statement can help you to figure out how to navigate. Because if you think it's like they're either in your life or they're totally out of your life is something that you struggle with, maybe that's something that you could work on, right? Not like I don't know, based on 3 or 4 cards, I can't tell you that part. All right, let's do Gina's reading, and then I'm shutting this down. 2 hours and 28 minutes, and we are still going strong. All right. Hopefully that helped, and I thank you very much for being so honest in the chat and sharing that with us. I know it's not easy. I wish you lots of luck. Whoa. Flyers and one flipped over. All right, here we go. Are you here, Gina? Let me know if you're here, love. Gina. All right. Hopefully you're still here, Gina. So the first card that we have, what's falling away, what do you need to forgive? And we have boundaries. So right away, I'm feeling 2 things. I have to be honest. It's like guardrails. Like there's like a structure that I have in place, and I try to like live within that structure. It's time for me to like lower those walls a little bit, like this feeling like I want to break out almost. Closed off is not the word that I want, but it's like keeping close to my chest, like, you know what I mean? Like I want to keep things tight, close. Card number 2, what is being illuminated by this full moon? What's the full moon showing you? Compassion. Compassion towards yourself. right? Well, what is compassion? Compassion is understanding, right? It's a mind and heart conversation, right? When those two things come together, right? Because we all know that they're not always in complete agreement with each other, right? And what comes next? Beautiful. What comes next is blessedness. So this whole series of things here implies that a lot of work has been done. A lot of growth has happened. But we're still operating from a place of not knowing that the growth has occurred yet, or preparing for the growth, right? It's like we need to like catch up. So there might be a little bit of fear holding me back. Like I'm not ready to take the training wheels off, because I fell last week on my tricycle. So I'm not quite ready to go for the two-wheeler kind of thing. But like, you got this. So be compassionate towards yourself, empower yourself, embrace yourself, love yourself, because it's only good stuff on the horizon for you. And the card that flipped over inside the deck, which I have total chills now, is finding. I mean, this is about figuring out who you are, which we have to do multiple times in our life, right? At different stages and different ages, different circumstances and different situations, where we reassess, like, who am I and what am I made out of? But like, you've done the work, you figured it out. You've reached that spot where it all makes sense, but we're still operating from a place of like, oh, I'm not sure. So we got to throw out the old and welcome the new, right? Lower that guardrail a little bit. Lower those boundaries just a little bit. Give yourself some elbow room, right? Let yourself expand. Feel that expansion. Embrace the expansion, which is the enlightenment, the understanding, the growth, right? And I want you to celebrate the hell out of the fact that you have arrived at that spot. That spot where things are like, you know what? I friggin' did it. God damn it, I did it. I am so proud of myself. You know what I mean? Like, embrace it. You're just finding your strength, my friend. You're just finding your strength. And I love that for you. My kitty cat's crying. It's okay, Charlotte. Come. Come here, baby girl. Charlotte, come. Hi, baby. Hi. Do you want to come see everybody's? Come. Charlotte doesn't often make appearances on the screen, but here, come. Come, look. Oh, what's that? What's that? Oh, oh. She's like, I know you're on camera, lady. Yeah, look. Yeah. You want to come see? Want to come see? Oh, you don't want to come see? What if we do this? Will you reach over this way? Look. Hi. Oh, you're so cute. Yes, you are. You're a beautiful girl. Yes, you are. Oh, look, we got a nose. There's Charlotte. Yes, you're a good girl, aren't you? Yes, you are. Oh my goodness, yes. You want to play more? Come. Charlotte does not like to be touched. She does not like to cuddle. And believe it or not, Charlotte is Quincy's biological sister. They come from the same litter. And now Quincy is sitting there going like, I'll jump up on your desk, Mom. That makes perfect sense. When can I do a ritual to attract good things? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Anne. And then this is Quincy. Everybody knows Quincy. Quincy is my resident cuddler and suck. Anita, you want a reading? All right, last one, and then we're done for the night. We're doing full moon readings, Anita. You're going to sit there while I shuffle? Okay. I'm glad it makes sense. Gina, thank you. Excuse me. So, what is falling away? What do I need to forgive? Okay. Transformation. Second card. What's the illuminated full moon showing you? So, what's the full moon trying to make you focus on or pay attention to? And we have fertility. Third card, or final card, what comes next? And again, we have the finding card. This is an easy one. And when I say easy one, I'm focused on the fertility card. Okay. And the reason that I'm focused on the fertility card, it's like fertility, it's growth, it's new, right? It's blessings, new beginnings, new starts, new cycles. I just want to encourage you to I don't know if it's like a high bar that you set for yourself, or if there's like a little bit of like negative sort of like self-talk that you do. I mean, we're all guilty of it at one point or another, I think. But it's like I'm really hard on myself, sort of beat myself up a little bit because I'm not where I think I'm supposed to be, or because I don't feel like it's working the right way, or it's something like that. And so we're not allowed to fully open up, right? We're not allowed to flap those beautiful wings and really feel the peace and the freedom that comes from that growth, from that expansion. We're not allowing that to, like, we're not embracing it. That's the right word. We're not embracing it. And if we embrace it, if we really look at this from the right perspective, if we see it for what it is, right? If we take the blinders off and get rid of that negativity, that self-deprecating kind of self-talk, then we allow ourselves to see the newness, the possibilities, and the opportunities that are ahead of us, right? Meaning we only see good things. We see that things are moving in the right direction. And what happens because of that is that we start finding our way, or finding our footing. Things start to make sense. Things start to fall into step with what I thought. So let's say, for example, that you manifested something, right? You set an intention, a goal, and you manifested it, but you don't feel like it's working. Nothing's happening. You know, I literally feel like I'm at a standstill. I want you to ask yourself, but am I at a standstill? Because it feels like you're not at a standstill, but you're not seeing the growth. because you're focused on the destination, not necessarily on the journey. And so I want you to sort of like allow yourself to like roll the tape back a little bit, okay? And sort of reassess where you were, how you've come along, right? And the growth at certain points, and then embrace that, right? Find the joy in that. And there's also, I just want to say like this, you know, that part about like the hope of it all, the belief of it all, but not in a way that's pressured. And I don't know how to make that make sense. So instead of being like, I need to be here by Thursday at 5, if it takes me till Tuesday at 7, it's still going to be the same result, but I'm open to it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I want you to embrace being open to it. Smell the flowers as you go along the path. That kind of thing, right? Because the effects are going to be the same whether you get there on Tuesday or whether you get there on Thursday, right? You just have more time to spend on the journey. And sometimes that's where the most beautiful things happen, is in the journey. That's what I got for you. So I hope that makes sense. Hope it resonates, all of the things. And we are done like dinner. Yes. Awesome. All right, friends, there's only 3 of us sitting here. So I thank everyone that was here. There was 20 of us at one point. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for asking the questions and for the chat. And I appreciate all of you. Please make sure to give a thumbs up, leave a comment under the video. If you are interested in joining the Dozen Cats membership, the join button is right underneath this video where the channel name is. Hit that button. It'll take you to a different window that'll tell you all the things that you need to know. It's $2.99 a month. And of course, I appreciate that support. Thank you again to Kieran for the super chat earlier this evening. I really appreciate that support. And I will be back. What's scheduled is next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. I could be back before then, but 7 p.m. Eastern. And of course, check out the daily videos Monday through Thursday. Okay. Oh, thank you, Gina. Thank you, Anita. Thank you to everybody who was here and who participated, who shared. I really, really appreciate it. I will see you when I see you guys next. And until then, I wish you many, many blessings. Bye for now.